Hello everyone and welcome to Theme Park Worldwide, where today I'm back here at the Alton Towers Resort to bring you all the latest Nemesis construction updates. It's Friday the 2nd of February 2024 and we are not long away now from the start of the 2024 theme park season. Here at Alton Towers it kicks off on the 16th of March, so a matter of weeks really until we're going to be back inside the park and getting back on all of our favourite rides. Along with that, fingers crossed, we're going to be getting on Nemesis at the start of the season too. However, the parks still haven't officially announced that is going to be the reopening date of Nemesis. There's been lots of teasers, lots of signs that it is going to be ready for the 16th, but the park haven't yet confirmed that. So fingers crossed, we're going to get that confirmation soon. I know a lot of people are waiting on booking park tickets and hotels and all that kind of thing, and they're just waiting on that official confirmation. We've had a lot of messages, a lot of people commenting on our videos and posts asking us, when is Nemesis going to open? And the answer is we don't fully know. We're hoping the 16th of March, but based on the work that's going on, fingers crossed, is going to be all ready for the start of the season, because as you're going to see in this update, there is still quite a lot of work to be done. So we're going to be starting off then here at the resort. I'm actually on the car park at the moment of Splash Landings Hotel. It's very quiet. I mean, the water park's open today, and the Alton Towers Hotel, but apart from that, very quiet. But of course the resort is now back open, so it means we can access the car parks again and get some views over of Nemesis. Now the ride's actually been testing for about 2 weeks now. Alton Towers of course released that official testing footage, absolutely brilliant. It sent chills down me, it really did, just seeing the ride testing again and going around the layout. And I've got to say, that was actually footage that was taken on a very cold day. Obviously we was abroad at the time, but I remember watching the video and thinking and looking at the temperature the day that was filmed, and it was like -5. So that goes to show that of course it wasn't running to its full speed. So I thought, we've got that official testing footage. I want to come down to Alton Towers today and just see if I can capture Nemesis testing or not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a bit of a stroll up onto the car park, get me steps in, have a bit of a walk around the car parks and hotels, and just listen out and really see if I can see testing for Nemesis in person. Of course, the views aren't going to be anywhere near as good as what we got from inside the park with the official video, but that was 2 weeks ago. It's nowhere near as cold now. It's about 5-6 degrees today. Yeah, it's this afternoon when I've come up here, because I know for a fact a lot of the testing has been done more in the afternoon, so I thought there's a higher chance of me seeing it coming up here to the resort. So it's a bit of a waiting game really, this one. I might see something, I might not, but I'm going to take a stroll up there now and go and see if I can of course see Nemesis Reborn testing. And that's the thing with this, that testing footage, it was going slow around the layout due to a number of factors. Mainly it was cold, but also along with that too, it was one of its first test runs. It's going to take time to bed in, so I really want to see the speed it's taking now a couple of weeks in, especially going around the loop that looked very slow from that official testing footage. I reckon if I can see it to this afternoon, it's going to be a lot faster than that. So come and join me. Of course we're going to be outside the park boundary. This is public area that anyone can come and access. Of course, if you are visiting the resort, make sure you're respecting all the construction workers. Looks like when I drove past just, there's quite a bit of work going on the car parks, so if you are coming down to try and see Nemesis, bear in mind with that. Of course, after I've waited around for a little bit, I could be here a couple of hours, I could be here 15 minutes, you don't know, it could be a waiting game. I'm then going to head off the resort and of course get some aerial updates of the wider Forbidden Valley area too. Right, let's go and see Nemesis Reborn. So after that previous clip, I actually had a stroll up to the Nemesis site and saw just how much work was actually happening around the exterior of the park. As you can see here, I'm right by the green gates on the car park. Lots of activity taking place, so I didn't want to get in the way around there. Yeah, it looked like they're actually resurfacing part of the pathway that leads from the car parks down to the park entrance. A lot of kind of pipes around, and yeah, lots was happening in that area. So I kind of stood a little bit further back for about half an hour or so. Couldn't really see anything happening with Nemesis, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a stroll back down to the car. So I got in the car, drove back up onto the car park, stayed well out of the way of anything that was kind of happening, and then actually just sat in the car for a little bit. And I thought, you know what, I don't think today is going to be the day for seeing it. I was just waiting there in the car, hoping to capture that footage of Nemesis, and time just seemed to be ticking along. I was actually there a couple of hours and it didn't send once, and I was almost starting to give up hope of seeing it testing in person. However, I actually did my window down a little bit because I heard something. I wasn't too sure at first if it was or not, and it was the sound of the lift hill kicking in, and that got me very excited. Obviously I was parked quite far back at this point, so I grabbed my camera out my bag and kind of got straight over, and by the time I got up towards the green gates, it had already completed the layout. But it was great to see it from a distance, and I thought, you know what, it's going to be going now, you know, constantly, it's going to send again, and it didn't. However, luckily I was still in position and did manage to get some footage of the ride testing. So it took some time, and that's the thing with something like this, it can be a waiting game, but it paid off. It was more than worth it, and just the excitement of getting this footage and seeing it testing in person really was fantastic. So here we go, I'm going to put in the footage over the next minute or so for you now. No audio over the top or anything like that. This is the raw footage with the sound of Nemesis and also the speed of Nemesis as she's been reborn for 2024. I just knew it was going to be worth waiting for that moment. Just to see Nemesis testing again for the first time in person was an amazing experience. Honestly, I am so excited to get back on Nemesis. And of course, now it's been reborn for 2024. I missed that coaster so much last year. 2023 was always going to be difficult not having Nemesis here at Alton Towers. It's a local park for us. And of course, I ride Nemesis every week. I've been on it thousands of times. So it was always going to be difficult. And you know what? So many of you feel the same as well. It's got me really emotional, actually, just seeing it testing again, because that ride really got me in love with theme parks. And of course, growing up with Alton Towers, I was always waiting for that moment to get on the next ride. And when I got to 1.4 to get on Nemesis and was tall enough to ride it, that really was a special moment in my life. And that was like a changing point in a way, riding Nemesis. It made me want to go out and experience so many more other rides. Of course, at the time, I was thinking, oh, mainly around the UK. And now lucky enough to do what we do, traveling around the world, is amazing. And it is all thanks to Nemesis and Alton Towers. Without this park and growing up here, you know, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So honestly, I'm getting really emotional just seeing that. It means the world to me, seeing that. It really does, in person, and just being able to capture that footage too. So, whew, can't believe it. Amazing. Now, in terms of how often it's going round, it can completely vary. I could have been waiting for a couple of hours and seen nothing today, but it was well worth it to see it test 3 times within the space of 60 minutes. So yeah, about a dispatch every 20 minutes or so. I'm not too sure if it was just running the one train or 2 trains, but of course it was 20 minutes in between, so it could be just that one train that was just getting sent round every 20 minutes. But beautiful to see it. And as I mentioned, with the temperature being a bit warmer now, it's probably been round a few hundred times at a guess now. Obviously it's hard to say exactly how many, but of course these coasters get cycled hundreds of times before anyone's on there. You got the water dummies on there, simulating of course the weight of the riders, and you saw the speed of that. It's clear to see that Nemesis is running to the same speed that it was before. Going through the loop just there, I didn't have any concerns based on the official footage. We knew it was a cold day when that was running, so just to actually see it in person and get that footage there of the loop, you know, no sped up or anything like that. That was the genuine footage of Nemesis just there going round. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the speed it's taken. Along with that, from what we can see going up into the first corkscrew, that looks amazing too. From what I could just about make out over the trees, going up into that 0G over the station looked really snappy. And of course got an angle of the stall turn before dropping down into the loop, and yeah, you can really see that it's got the speed, which is fantastic. In terms of the sound of Nemesis, it doesn't sound like it did. It's still got a roar, which I'm really pleased about. It's still got a roar to it. It doesn't sound like it did before. It's got a different sound, but again, that's going to change over time. I also feel like the fact that of course it's excavated into a giant pit also helps with the noise and create a bit of an echo, and that was always an iconic part of Nemesis, wasn't it? The sound. So standing there on the car park today, it does sound different, but it has still got a roar. It doesn't sound very quiet by all means, you know, like you can still hear it, which is really good running round. And you've got to think that's from outside the park. When you're standing under it and around the area, then yeah, I reckon that's going to sound nearly as good as it did before. Maybe not quite yet, but over time, again, the sound can even change as it beds in more. And yeah, just seeing that has got me so excited. It really has. A lot of work going on with infrastructure, it seems, of course, with the queue line and then speakers that have gone in that I mentioned, but also the queue line shop that we can see, and also work going on around the kind of exterior of the park here. They're redoing the footpath from the car park down past the Forbidden Valley into the park, which is really promising to see. Now, of course, going to get some more aerial updates. We did this about a month and a half ago. Got some great shots, so I'm going to head off the resort now and of course get some aerial shots to put in for you all. And we'll talk about what's going on in the wider Forbidden Valley area, because yeah, I think there's still quite a lot to do before Forbidden Valley is ready to go. So we make our way then up into the air. Here's a look down at Nemesis. It really makes you appreciate what a beautiful coaster it is, even more so when you see it from up there in the air. A beautiful design it really is. Now, of course, we know that Forbidden Valley is undergoing a lot of changes and theming upgrades for 2024 too. We're going to start off here by looking down just by Nemesis Subterra, and you can just make out there where it looks like you've got some squares that have been marked out on the ground. Looks to me that could possibly be the start of an entrance portal, kind of marking out where the columns are going to go for that. Only guessing at this stage, we've not seen any plans or anything like that, but it looks like that could possibly be an entrance portal into Forbidden Valley, right next door to Nemesis Subterra. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how that progresses over the coming weeks. Here's a great view, starting off of course with the 5 monorail trains that are parked up there too. Love seeing the monorail there from above, but also if you look just above the blue shipping container, you can see the refurbished tail for Nemesis, and this is looking great. Of course, it was quite basic design before. What they've done here is added a lot more detailing to it from what we can see, so I'm looking forward to seeing that go into place. Of course, that'll be at the end of the ride layout for Nemesis, just above the brake run and the transfer track. But yeah, I love seeing the monorails there from above too, seeing Alton Towers from a bit of a different perspective. Right then, here's a great shot looking over parts of Nemesis. Of course, you've got the station itself there. Still a lot of scaffolding on, but I'll come to that in just a moment. What I want to focus on here is, of course, the queue line that you can see running around the perimeter of the ride now, which looks great. Along with that, the helicopter that we mentioned in the previous update, that's there on the hillside in the stall turn. No changes yet to the maintenance shed. I was thinking maybe that was going to get painted or maybe some theming on there, but nothing from what we can see. The Mushroom Cloud tour bus, which is just behind there, that looks like it's had a complete refurbishment. It was covered in scaffolding towards the end of last year, so that's good to see how that's being kept and retained. A nice original piece of theming for Nemesis. Still got scaffolding around the photo unit, which is just behind the station there, the little building that you can see. If we move up towards the top of the image, you can see the shop is now starting to take shape, which is very positive to see. I believe this steel structure only went into place a few days ago, and of course this is like an extension to the small little building that's already existing there. They demolished part of it and then have built this new structure, and that's going to form all part of the Nemesis shop. So that's really good to see that Nemesis is going to have a shop again. Cannot wait to see the merchandise for Reborn. I think that's going to be great. But of course, we're now at the start of February, and it shows just how much work there still is to do around the area. As much as Nemesis is testing daily on a regular basis, brilliant to see, it shows there's still a lot to be done here, and be realistic about the rest of the area. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see if all this is ready for the 16th of March, or if it's going to be a later date. To give you an idea on the size of the shop, actually, you can see there's a cherry picker parked up inside part of it there too. So yeah, I'm sure that's going to look great when it's completed. You can see the shop now in the left of this image, and here's an overview of the right hand side of the layout for Nemesis, and I've got to say, it looks stunning from above, doesn't it? I cannot wait to see all the details on the station from down there on the ground. Now, here's an interesting one for you. You can actually see, if you look on the right hand side of the station, what looks to be an extra support that doesn't lead to anywhere. Well, this is actually a fake B&M support that's been added into place, and it's like the Nemesis beast is ripping it up out of the ground, kind of attacking the support. So that's going to look really good from down there on ground level, and also from all the different observation points that there is around Nemesis. You're going to look over, and it really is like the beast has come alive and he's ripping up part of the coaster. So yeah, you can just make out that support. It's not holding up the track or anything, it's literally just there as part of the scenery for this. So I do like the idea of that. Along with that, you also get to see how all the pathways have been retained underneath. Great places to just go and view Nemesis from off-ride, and a lot of new fencing's been added, and also as well repainting some of the older existing fencing that we can see there. But yeah, it's looking fantastic, isn't it? In terms of the design of the station, on this side closest to where we are here, and the loop there for Nemesis, you'll notice how it's kept the original design with the legs, how it kind of goes into the track at the bottom, and then on the other side it's got this more mechanical look. So quite interesting really. Is that going to play into the updated story maybe? How you've got, you know, the two different sides of the monster with this one. You've got the bits with the track, but then you've also got the more mechanical style that I would say over on the other side. But yeah, I'm loving that that support. Now, if we move up to the top of Forbidden Valley, loads of work going on around here. We mentioned in our previous update that the big kind of piece of machinery, the big drill that was at the top of Forbidden Valley had been removed, and now it looks like foundations are happening there for something that's going in. Possibly could be another helicopter or phalanx vehicle going in there, but some pretty big foundations. So yeah, that's all still very much a work in progress. Just behind there, you've got the edge, which is the arcade. That's in the process of being demolished. That's been completely rebuilt. I didn't know if they were still going to go ahead with this or not, based on, you know, timings and how close we're getting to the season. But no, work has started now. They've took the canopy out, and the building's going to be getting completely transformed. So let's just see how that progresses really over the next week or so. You can see the sign for the edge there on the right, just by the phalanx truck. And of course that's been then took off the front. Literally this has only started over the past few days. In the background you can see Nemesis Donuts. That's been painted black, along with the food unit there too. If we move to the next image, the iconic Nemesis archway looks like it's having a bit of a glow up. It's been painted black, but then also you can see it looks like it's going to have some kind of Nemesis tentacles growing over it. Similar style to what they did on the entrance to the queue line that you can see at the top left of the image there too. So lots more details to see. I'm sure we're going to get a lovely new Nemesis Reborn sign on there as well, and I look forward to seeing how that is. If we move into this image, you get a much clearer view now at what there is left to do on the station, and that is quite a lot. All the scaffolding still on there, and also you get a better look at that fake support that there is there too, and it kind of looks like the leg is coming out and kind of pulling that, which is really cool. I think that's going to look fantastic from down on the ground. Along with that, you can see all the fencing that's been added. Of course, it's on the helix just there as well, the downward helix, one of the most intense parts of the ride. You're still going to be able to stand up against the fence and get that kind of the wind going past you, you know, and feeling the speed of Nemesis there. All that fencing has been put into place. That's one thing I'm still not too sure on, and that is the standard kind of black fencing we're seeing, especially around the queue line. Not a huge fan of that look, so hopefully there's going to be a bit more landscaping and things to be done around that, because yeah, I don't think the black fencing looks the best at the moment. Here's another angle then, just looking down towards Forbidden Valley and the shop. Looks like the coffee lounge is having a bit of a retheme. That's all been painted black. you can see there from the building. The signage has been removed, so that looks like, could it be getting a Nemesis kind of upgrade, which would be really nice to see, offering like Nemesis food and beverages. That would be cool. And of course the shop, which is going to be quite large actually, off to the side. And worth pointing out, they have left enough room there to put in another flat ride, hopefully at some point in the future. And by that, there's a lot of positives coming of Alton Towers for this year, but for next year, hopefully flat rides will be the priority. In terms of down at Galactica, nothing's happening. It doesn't even look like it's had a pressure wash yet, so I hope that it's going to get that before the season starts. In terms of having a re-theme or anything like that, looking very, very doubtful now, especially with the new season being about a month and a half away. 6 weeks, I don't think we're going to be seeing a re-theme on Galactica for this year, unfortunately. And then, of course, we'll just move to one more final image there. Looking over the beast itself, it looks great, doesn't it? I'm a big fan of the colour scheme. Like I say, the maintenance shed has still got that kind of tin green colour. Is that going to get painted? Be interesting to see. Looks like there's still quite a lot of landscaping to do around the queue line. Those speakers that are being installed, we've already heard a snippet of the soundtrack, of course in the official video. Sounds fantastic. You've got what looks to be a queue line shop, which is a shipping container. That's if that is the shop. It looks like it could be. There's like a counter inside, but still a little bit disappointing that it's a shipping container, especially next to such a world-class coaster. A permanent building would have been a better choice. However, offering a queue line shop is a good idea, but also for a coaster like Nemesis that's got a very high capacity, you know, I really don't see the queue line shop being needed a lot of the time, you know, especially after the kind of opening hype for Nemesis Reborn. The queue is going to move fast for this ride. It always has done. But I am a big fan of how we've got that top section of the queue line looking down over the layout. That is very positive to see. And again, just one more look there actually at the station from above, and of course that fake support. And the eye isn't in place yet. So Nemesis used to have two eyes. As you can see, they've kind of made it like Nemesis has turned and facing towards the pathway. That's where we're going to see this big eye. We believe it's going to be animated as well, maybe like a backlit projection or a screen. So I cannot wait to see how that's going to look on Nemesis Reborn. Some brilliant shots there from up in the air, taking a look at Forbidden Valley and Nemesis Reborn at Alton Towers. Short 10-minute drive back here in the studio, and you know what? I have loved today. Just seeing Nemesis testing in person has been amazing. Just to see it go around the track for the first time since November 2022 was an emotional experience. I loved seeing that and capturing it. Yes, it was quite a wait, but it was more than worth it. And you know what? I'd have waited all day if I had to just to see that. And to capture it, share it with all you guys as well, really is brilliant. And then of course get some nice aerial shots, seeing all that work around Forbidden Valley, but also realising how much work there is left to do with 6 weeks left until the actual start of the season. It's going to be really interesting to see if Nemesis is ready for the 16th. I think it needs to be from a park capacity point of view, and of course let's just hope it is. But I guess, you know, the work needs to be finished. Could we possibly see Nemesis open and then they're still working around Forbidden Valley on the other buildings and maybe other parts of the shop and that sort of thing? Or is it going to be a mad rush to get it all finished? I guess we're going to find out, but you know what? Stick with us here at Theme Park Worldwide for more updates in the run-up, of course, to the opening of Nemesis Reborn at the Alton Towers Resort. Let me know your thoughts and excitement down below. Are you liking the look of what you're seeing? What about the wider Forbidden Valley area? You know, what are you hoping to see? I would love to know down below in the video comments. And if you haven't already, of course, make sure you check out our previous 2 videos. We've just done a construction update on site at Drayton Manor for their new family thrill coaster, and along with that Hyperia down at Thorpe Park. 3, of course, of the new additions coming to the UK. A long list of new additions to the UK for this year, which is really exciting to see. I'm Sean Sandbrook. Thanks for watching Theme Park Worldwide, and that leaves me with one final thing to say. Get out there and keep on riding. See you in tomorrow's video.